let's talk about location services, background checks, things of that nature. So you need to find someone. You need, as maybe a business owner, small business owner, do a background check on someone. So let's talk about location services first. So you're trying to locate someone, maybe somebody from your past for whatever reason, locating a loved one, trying to find out, this person that's maybe skipped on a bill, or you just want to, find a long, long lost loved one from your past. I have a lot of people that say, "Well, I can do that. I can do that for $20. All I need to do is jump on Been Verified or Truth Finder or something like that." So okay, yeah, I'm not the person for you then, because I would tell you utilizing those services is laughable. It's absolutely laughable because the information that's on there is not vetted. The information on there is primarily inaccurate, and it's literally pulling from white pages, yellow pages, stuff that is not tangible for you. So you're going to basically take your money and throw it into the wind in hopes that you get a very little bitty crumb that's going to lead you to a dead end. Ask me how I know. I have more people that come to me that it raises more questions than it does give you answers. It doesn't give you contact information that is up to date or viable. And I'll give you an easy example. A person that calls up and says, "Hey, I'm looking for a John Smith that was in Shelbyville, Indiana, 10 years ago. I've got a partial address that I think that they were attached to, and I need to find out, where this person is." Okay, here's my fee. Oh no, that's too much. I'll use Truth Finder. Okay, go try to find a John Smith from Shelbyville 10 years ago on Truth Finder and tell me how that goes for you. Because literally you're going to throw your money into the wind. I would tell you, within 24 to 48 hours, I can generally hone down. And again, circumstances arise where it could be, longer or less, where I'm going to get you the tangible information that you need. I'm going to tell you, okay, here are the, last 3 known addresses based upon the information that you've given me. I can tell you that this person left this residence and landed over here. Obviously, the more information that you come to the table with, the better for the circumstance that I'm looking into. But more times than enough, don't waste your money on those online services because they are a complete and utter ripoff. Whereas I've got a multitude of different methods in which to be able to find a person, whether it's through about 7 different accessible software packages that you have to be vetted at a high level and approved to utilize. Not just the general public can utilize it because, again, you've got to be certified to use it. Obviously, you've got to pay to be able to use it. I have to be able to show my license that I'm insured and follow their guidelines or legal guidelines in relation to utilizing it. So with that being said, not everybody can utilize the information accessibility that I have. So that's one side of the house. So the second side of the house is dealing with background checks. So background checks, give you for example, small business owners, they want to hire a person to run their business, or maybe run a register, or be in charge of something that's important to them, so they want to do a background check on an individual. So there are a ton of pitfalls that come into the background check landscape. So there's a multitude of levels in which you can do a background check. More times than enough, people are desperate to hire somebody, so they just do a quick, check on whatever government free, free information website that they can use, maybe a county sheriff, or a local, like in Indiana, there's My Case that anybody can utilize. But again, you're not getting the full picture. So somebody does a county background check. Okay, they do a county background check on, again, I'll use the name, Joe Smith. They're going to hire Joe Smith. They do a county background check on Joe Smith. It costs them $10 to do it, online or whatever. Marion County, Joe Smith. Here's the date of birth. Here's the social security number. Okay, it shows it's clear. Comes back as clear. You toss the keys to this person. They run your business. They steal from you. They burglarize, or they don't show up, or you get somebody later down the line knocking on your door saying, "Hey, do you know this Joe Smith? This Joe Smith guy was involved in an armed robbery 10 years ago," or whatever. What you didn't do is you didn't look at state. You didn't look at multiple states. You didn't see the person's address history, and all you did was run one county. You didn't run a multitude of counties, because the county doesn't necessarily talk to the state. The state doesn't necessarily talk to the county on a lot of these different websites. So when you do a small search, or you do an online search, you're going to get little tidbits. You're not going to get the full scape. So if Joe Smith lives in Marion County, or has lived in Marion County for the last 10 years, what do you know about Joe Smith 10 years prior to that? Well, Joe Smith lived in Illinois, or lived in Kentucky, or lived in California, and they've got a warrant for their arrest somewhere, or they have they committed a felony or 10 misdemeanors of various nature in those states, and your county check that you didn't tell you anything in regards to him living in California, and he didn't disclose on his application that he lived in California. But you can mitigate all of that anguish and all of that by doing a multi-state background check on someone. And a private investigator like myself can do that. And of course, yes, there is a fee for doing that. But again, which one would you rather do? Would you rather pay a small fee up front, a small nominal fee up front, to get the information that you have, in hopes that you don't have a situation down the line that's going to cost you thousands upon thousands of dollars of loss down the line? Because I've dealt with this for 38 years. There's a lot of things that people don't do on the front end that affect them on the back end, that they could have easily done on the front end, and not been subjected to major loss on the back end. So that's just one aspect of it. Now, the second aspect of it is that we can do professional background profiles as well. So a background profile could be, I want to know about this individual that, I'm hiring. Here are the last 10 places that they're saying that they've worked. I need to know, or, confirm that they've worked there. What's their professional experience like? Here's their professional references. I really don't have time to go and call these individuals. I want to hire somebody to call them, to do the preparation, paint the picture for me. Here are the candidates that I have. We've done multiples of them. for this high level corporate job that they're applying for. So you want to get the best information possible. Myself, I've done hundreds of these for corporate clients throughout my career. I've also been on the hiring side with um, top 100 companies where we're hiring executives. I need to find out this information. I need to vet the information that this candidate is telling me, that they've been involved in, the projects they've been involved in, the companies that they've been affiliated with, the institutions that they've graduated from, or that they're indicating on their resumes. So we can paint those scenarios for you so you can make the best selection possible for the position that you're hiring. And again, if you do the work on the front end, if you allow me to do the work on the front end, you can hopefully have the best candidate with the best experience for the best outcome for your company, for your particular situation. Not only at corporations, but nannies. We do for nanny situations. They're taking care of loved ones. It should be the highest of priority for you. We've done it for small companies. You're hiring an hourly worker. And the low impact hourly worker usually are the ones that you really want to do these with, because they can cause extensive damage on the back end if you don't hire the right candidate and do the legwork up front. Can really cost you in the back end, because I've done a multitude of fraud investigations involving hourly workers. So those are just some of the things that you need to keep in consideration when you want background checks done, and looking into people and locating people. So